Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Sounds of the Diaspora, artist to artist, a conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. Thank you for joining us this week as we bring you another amazing guest and some more information about this guest. It's my pleasure and honor to have on the show a dear friend, someone I've known for many years, met him years ago. We kind of lost track and reconnected, and we worked really hard to get him on the show because there's a time difference in our location and schedule, and we figured it out. And here he is. Please welcome to the show, the one and only Mr. Michael Varekamp.
Hi, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. You're in the Netherlands, and
Yes.
it's I know there's a lot going on over there, and it's late, the time difference and everything. So we really appreciate you taking the time for joining us.
No, thank you. It's great to
Good,
be here.
good. Good. So, Michael, you're born and raised in the Netherlands, but your family background is from Trinidad Tobago.
Yeah.
Um, Tell us about your musical influence growing up.
Well, I was born in Rotterdam, and then I was adopted as a baby.
Okay.
So I grew up with a Dutch white family. Uh, Varekamp, that's the family. So
Mhm.
that became a new family name. And for a long time, I didn't know where I was from.
Okay.
I didn't know my roots for a long time in my life. But in the 70s, everybody in school in it's called preschool,
Mhm.
the elementary school. You were supposed to play the wooden flute. So that's what I
Mhm.
did. Record a flute. And then I heard I did it for 2 3 years from when I was 7, and then I heard Louis Armstrong. And it wasn't that my parents were jazz aficionados, but we had like a record collection with all kinds of music, classical and folk music, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And one record of Louis Armstrong. And when I heard it, I was like 9 10 years. Was like I was getting a call from home.
Okay. The light bulb went off.
Yeah, and I grew up in a small village. But there were no black people, so he was also kind of my first black role model at the same
Okay.
time, Louis. So that was my whole introduction to this, and it was really like a lightning.
Yeah. And that's a great introduction, Louis Armstrong. Come on.
Yeah,
You-
so he was much more than just the music, but
Mhm.
that all became much clearer later when I grew up, when I
Okay.
got older.
Great.
So
So you got introduced to Louis Armstrong, and then so you started studying the trumpet at what age?
at 10.
At 10. Okay. And did you like kind of lean towards jazz, or you just studied the trumpet and classical music? What was your focus at that time?
Well, I had to study classical
Okay.
to begin with, but Louis was my first love, so I was totally into jazz. So I quit the lessons after 2 years because I didn't like it so much. I had an old military officer, and he used to punch me in my stomach when my breath control wasn't right. He really
Wow. Yeah.
So I quit, but I already loved music. So then I started the band. I had my
Okay.
first jazz band when I was 13. So
Uh-huh.
from that point on, I was studying myself without a teacher, and then later when I was 16, 17, 18, I
Mhm.
went to find a teacher again, and finally I went to the conservatory when I was 20.
Right. In The Hague, right?
Yes, in The Hague, and there I had
Yeah.
all lessons, classical and jazz, of course, but everything together there. That's where it all came together somehow. But the
Right.
years
And you
before,
graduated it from The Hague with honors, I understand, right?
yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Great. So once you got to university, you just jumped right in it and just everything just started to come together.
yeah. And before that, I was just crazy about Louis, so I tried to play. this music, and I was playing gigs already, and I was pretty busy. But it all starts all over again when I went to the university, Conservatoire.
Yeah. So that's great. So when did you start to incorporate your Caribbean roots and here? When did you start to like really check that out? Because your music now is heavily influenced from the Caribbean, but when did you start? I know your big influence growing up was Louis Armstrong and
Yeah,
his music. When did you start to incorporate your original, cultural roots?
yeah. Well, I was part of. So I was listening to Louis and New Orleans music. I mean, like
Hmm.
brass band kind of things.
Hmm.
And then when I was 21, 22, I became a member of Fra Fra Sound.
Fra
The Fra
Fra Sound.
Fra Sound
Okay.
was a group from Amsterdam,
Hmm.
a Suriname group, which combined Suriname music with
Hmm.
jazz.
Right.
So there was a little bit Kaseko and sometimes Calypso, and I was kind of, well, for me, I remember that my mother said, to explain the situation a little bit, I'm so happy for him that he has black friends now.
Okay.
So there was a whole adventure in itself that I was suddenly a member of
Right.
a black group.
Right. And Fra Fra Sound is a great band. I remember that was one of the first Caribbean influenced bands I heard coming out of Europe years ago.
Yeah,
It's great, great music. That's a great band. Does that band still exist now?
a little bit. They play
Yeah.
every now and then.
Okay.
But
Okay.
back then we had a small band and we also had a big band. And we were Vincent Hayner, the leader. He was very motivating everybody to write, and
Hmm.
we traveled a lot. But so that so I brought the New Orleans thing, I think, in that music. But I like Louis. I was listening to Duke Ellington. I started listening to Randy Weston when I was part of that band.
Yeah.
So these influences, they kind of made that concept. And
Hmm.
later, well, but it's later when I start to write for my own band. There was
Hmm.
Elvin Jones is an influence, I think, and Miles Davis. So then it extended, but then in the beginning it was those influences, I would say,
Right.
plus the traveling. So I
And those are great influences. I mean, you can't get any better than that. It's studying the foundation and all of that. That's great, man. So you starting to get out playing music. When did you form your own band?
yeah I think I was already busy arranging gigs and doing things. So I always kind of had my own band on the side, but really serious. I think around 30, I started doing my own projects. So after Fra Fra, I was for a while, for a couple of years, I was in a Dutch swing college band, which is a traditional jazz band. So it was really focused on swing, Louis Armstrong style.
Hmm.
And then I stopped with that band, and then I started doing more things for myself.
Okay. Okay. And once you started doing stuff for yourself, that opened up a whole nother world. And one of the things that I say about, I'm reading up on your bio and all of the stuff that you developed, you didn't just become a band leader going, just pursuing gigs. There's a lot of guys out here that, they're band leaders and they just do one gig after the next. But you
Yeah,
started creating projects.
yeah,
You started creating projects and not only creating projects, but you started becoming like, get involved in festivals and stuff like that. Can you tell us, about some of those projects and some of the organizations that you're working with now?
yeah. Now I'm doing a couple of festivals. I'm working on a new one in Gouda. It's going to be in July, 2 days, the Gouda Jazz Festival,
Hmm.
um, which is it's going to be the first edition of that festival. So I'm really excited, and it's going to be a nice mix of all kinds of jazz.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm working on Prinsjesnacht. It's in The Hague, you have Prinsjesdag. It's a Dutch event, and it's when the government explain their ideas for the coming year. And
Okay.
I thought it might be great to do a festival, music festival, on the evening before. So that's going to be the third edition this year.
Hmm.
And well, I'm doing this series of concerts with certain subjects musically, but sometimes, well, not sometimes. I like to tell about the background of things and what's the social background of music, which led to this and that development. There's
Right.
always a reason why things happened.
Right. Incorporating the social economic, environment and relating it to the music. That's important.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think we have well, maybe not a responsibility. It depends on what on the person, but I think we're in the position that if you want, you can say something about it.
Yeah. It's a platform. Yeah. That sounds good. Musically and freedom of speech as well. They can freedom of music and freedom of speech.
Yeah, and there's so much freedom in the music. I mean,
Right.
we're doing it already, and we are handling all these influences from all over the world and
Right.
finding tracks. You know,
Hmm.
that's so great about your show, and it's when I look at my own development, it's about finding tracks, and you
Right.
recognize things in the music without even know in the first place you recognize it, but then that explains itself later
Right. Right.
when you're open to that.
Yeah, and that's great. I like your consciousness, that not only are you just a musician, but you're concerned about the community, you're involved in the community, you're bringing awareness to your community, and you're allowing people to have a platform to express themselves as well. So, being an artistic director for these festivals and creating these series and stuff, you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're also making sure that other artists have a platform and for people to express themselves. So that's great, man. You're really involved, and that's what again this show's about is to showcase people presenting and engaging within their community and sharing that cultural stuff. And your story is so unique. What I like about it, Michael, is that growing up being adopted in an all white situation, and then as you got older, you actually found your roots and embraced your roots, and your music is really, really um, expressive in that component. And I really want to. I can't wait to get to your music to play for the audience. But when did you start to like really focus on the culture of the Caribbean and all of these different elements that comes out in your music? How when did you really start to do that?
That started when I was a member of Fra Fra, and then
Okay.
it never left me. But I
Hmm.
think as an artist in European culture, there's always if somehow you always have this double position. So there's like the mainstream cultural opinion on one
Hmm.
side, and there's your probably your own vision on the other side, and I don't and I have to deal with all these cultures because I'm part of all these cultures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so that yeah, so I'm used to it. But
Hmm.
I think I'm also entitled to say something about these cultures. But
Hmm.
then there are some forces. They want to put you in one corner or this, and that want to put you in another corner. And sometimes it's hard for people to combine all these things.
Yeah. 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 It is. It is. It's unfortunate that we have to always address, no matter what it is, we always have to address the matter of race and entitlement and stuff like that. But again, you're in a good position the way you was raised up. You see it two ways because you were raised up in a certain environment, but then having just by the color of your skin puts you
Yeah,
in another environment. And as you got older, you embraced both of them and kind of became a spokesperson for both of them.
yeah. And it's
Which
I
is
also
which
think
is good.
when in getting older that you also it's also easier to combine all those things because it
Right.
took some time to find out myself.
Hmm.
And then, and the older you get, the more you say, well, it is this and that. And
Right.
if you don't understand, I explain what's
Right.
the
Right.
what's the relationship between Louis Armstrong and the Caribbean, or Louis Armstrong and Africa, or
Right.
yeah, in every direction you want. But so I think
Mhm.
during my life things also got more and more integrated somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you became a voice for that. And again, it shows with all of the things you're doing, being a band leader, artistic director, presenting these series. Again, it's really, it shows that you paid attention to what was happening, which is really good. And that's why people have embraced your projects and embraced your concepts and have put you in a position to be a presenter on that level. So that's really great. Now, as an educator, when you're working with students, I know for you, Louis Armstrong was your first influence. So as an educator and all of the stuff you know from the Caribbean and all of that, as an educator, what's your concept when you're teaching and presenting? Because again, you talked about your jazz series that you do, and each presentation is a different topic. So what's that concept about?
Well, I like to explain that it comes from people first.
Okay.
That's a very important. Once had the experience. I had to do a Louis Armstrong concert years ago, a tribute concert,
Hmm.
and it was a remake of the town hall concert. It was my first Louis record, the town hall
Okay.
concert, 1947.
Okay.
We did a remake. So I was practicing this record and learning it even more. And then after a certain while, uh, th- that work is done. You know, the musical
Hmm.
work, there's always a certain point. Okay, then it
Hmm.
is not that you have done everything, but somehow it's done. And then I found out the next step was to get deeper in the personality.
Right.
Why is somebody playing like that? What do you hear?
Hmm.
So that's what I like to explain to people when I give a master class about something. I think that's
Hmm.
really the interesting part for people, and it's also, I think, an element which what you don't hear so much, probably because it's much easier to learn a skill
Right.
than to find a connection with the feelings and with the mental concept behind a certain style of music.
Hmm. And do you find that your presentations are well received? Because you move around with your presentations. You're not in the same place. You kind
Yeah,
of go tour and do different things. Are they well
yeah,
received?
yeah. People are coming and they like it, and it's also, I think it should also be fun. But I mean, fun like in a jazz way of fun, and
Hmm.
probably a New Orleans way of fun. So it can be really serious, and you can cry, but you're also allowed to laugh and to make as much fun as possible. I think this
Hmm.
kind of goes together.
Right. Having fun as an artist is, I think, is one of the top three reasons why you should be an artist. I mean, you want to be proficient and make a living as well. But if you're not having fun, it shows.
Yeah,
So you want to convey that as an artist in your music, and all the things that you present is happy music. Because Louis Armstrong was, I mean, he was the ambassador for the music and for connecting people culturally, socially, racially. He was I think he was that first, ambassador to kind of cross those cultural lines and bring people together and have fun.
yeah,
And if you look at the history of his trip to Africa during, the Civil War and stuff like that, it really shows, his power. It really showcases his power to connect people on that level. So the fact that you embraced that and presented that into your presentation says a lot. So I think you're in a good position where you are. I think I'm just speaking personally. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. No, thank you.
I'm just,
Yeah,
yeah, because again, I mean, I'm in a good position when I present artists on the show. I get to read a biography, and I go online and I check out stuff, and I read all the articles that they write, and like you say, you want to get deeper into that artist and who they are. So I mean,
yeah.
for me, yeah, that's what I get when I did my research on you when you shared the information for us. I'm like, here's a gentleman that's well rounded. He's, came up in this environment. He's embraced his original environment, and he's become a cultural ambassador for his people. So
That's great. Thank you. And
yeah,
I'm thinking while you're speaking, it's what I also really like about what we are doing, that we are part of a history, but also part of an oral history. Because
mhm,
we musicians, we talk all day. You have all these anecdotes about people, and it teaches you about life, right? And we
mhm,
all have our mentors, and a lot of this music can be taught in school, but a lot also can't. And we're spending all this time waiting, airplanes, cars. So we have to
mhm.
talk. And I
You have to
think,
talk.
and in the talking, there's a lot that's a very, very strong part of
Yeah. And the lessons come like you're right. You're sitting at the airport, a flight is canceled, and now you're sitting at the airport for 6 hours and then you just start talking, and the information that's exchanged is valuable at that point. It's not about sitting in a classroom. It's about the timing. The timing is part of it, and whatever you're experiencing, all of that brings people closer, and the information that's being shared. So again, I applaud you for embracing that. You kind of again have become that cultural, musical, artistic ambassador for your community, and we wish you success in that. So it's a good thing that you're doing. That's why I found it so interesting. Is like I said I have to have this guy on the show.
Great, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So how many CDs do you have out?
Probably 60, I think.
60, 60?
Yeah, not under my own name, but if you mean under my own name, or is
Under your own name, yes.
yeah, maybe 15.
15? Okay, great.
Yes.
So yeah, I just want our audience to know, that you have a lot of product out there that they can go and check out on various levels, the different projects that you're doing. So some of the projects you're doing have, again, your influence have come from different places, and you've done some stuff again. Fra Fra Sound was a major influence. It's one of my favorite bands, but you shared some music with us, and I want to kind of jump into some of that right now
Yeah.
because we've been talking for a while, but I want our audience to hear the sound behind
Oh, yeah.
behind behind your concept. So the first song you shared with us is Trinidad Shuffle. Can you tell us about that song?
Yeah, it's very rhythmic, and it's I never wrote something with the word Trinidad in it.
Never.
It's
Okay.
and it's from the record narrative, and that whole record is about mixing all the influences, or a lot of influences I have. So it's Caribbean. It's there's little bit the Louis Armstrong feel. There's a little bit Elvin Jones feel, African thing. So that was kind of the Trinidad shuffle was that's the shortest one on the record, and it's nice. It's catchy. It has this
Hmm.
Trinidadian vibe, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And the
What's
dance
the name of the recording that is on?
narrative. That's the
Narrative. Okay.
recording. Yeah, the record.
Narrative.
Yes.
Great. All right. Well, let's check it out. Trinidad Shuffle. Yes,
Uh,
sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir. Yep, yep. I like that, man. That's like a soca, with some psychedelic, wah wah, Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trinidad shuffle, but that wasn't really like a shuffle groove. That's it's the own vibe on the shuffle, but that's
yeah.
a
But
nice vibe.
the shuffle was more. I was more thinking like a dance. Actually, I was thinking
Yeah,
of the Ali shuffle, and then I thought of the Trinidad shuffle.
the Trinidad shuffle. There you go. I love it. I love it. Ba, 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 da, ba. But I like that sound. It reminds me of like the '70s music with the organ and wow, the wah wah pedals and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, yeah, good
yeah. It
stuff.
gives it a little extra spice.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely up in there, man. So these are all musicians from the Netherlands.
Yes, they are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, except for the tenor player. I worked with him in Fra Fra. He's Ephraim Trujillo. Well,
Mhm.
he's from the Netherlands, but he has an American passport. But he has also this mixed roots. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But the beautiful thing is, I play with these guys for a very long time, 35 years. So
Hmm.
they know what you want, and I know how they play, and you know how to work with each other. So you can create the idea what you want to have, and they're all very they have this all this they are also interested in all these
Right.
because I play a lot with them and we do also different things together.
Great, great.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I can hear it in there. It's like really nice and tight and funky.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So the other song you shared with us, and I thought this one to be interesting, like Tales from the Swamp. I'm like, are there swamps? And I mean, I know the Netherlands is surrounded by water, it's like water everywhere, but you guys have swamps there?
yeah. We do,
You do?
but
Okay.
not with crocodiles.
Not with the crocodiles or the alligators. Okay. All right. You're missing that. But so tell us about Tales from the Swamp.
Yeah. So, but when I say swamp, well, a lot of my musical references are not connected to Holland necessarily. So I
Okay.
think more in terms of my roots. When I write this music, I'm thinking of New Orleans or the Caribbean or all these things. They motivate me.
Right. Right.
Uh,
I understand.
yeah. I
So
never
tell.
I never wrote a tune based on the Dutch landscape, for example.
Okay.
And and I bet even when I try that it doesn't come out like that.
I hear you. I hear you. So this is definitely influenced by New Orleans, swamp grounds,
Yeah,
that type of stuff.
yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Well, let's check it out. We'll talk about it after, but let's check it out. Tales from the Swamp.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, that's Tales from the Swamp.
yeah,
Definitely Elvin Jones is up in there.
yeah. I like it. There's also some darkness,
Hmm.
and it's all a little bit messy. And I
Hmm.
was thinking, it's a trumpet player. There's some Cootie Williams, and there were also
Uh-huh.
some Woody Shaw. And I was thinking, that when Winton came with Majesty of the Blues,
Uh-huh.
I think in the beginning of the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a big thing. I think this combination of more modern Coltrane vibe
Hmm.
with all the jazz. I think
Yeah.
that was for me. That was like I heard. Somebody else is thinking about the same things, and now it's
Oh yeah.
pretty normal. But in these days, wasn't done before.
Yeah. Yeah. The combination is great, and the way the sound that you put together comes together is just it's really nice. I can hear the swamp. I can see the swamp. I'm like, okay. So it's a different approach to that, but it works, and I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah. All right. I hear you doing your thing. Is this the same band from Trinidad Shuffle or same musicians or
Yes,
different?
the same band. Yeah, yeah,
Same
yeah,
band. Okay, great,
yeah.
great. And that's the same recorded narrative.
Yes, narrative.
Okay, good. So our audience can check out narrative, guys. That's
Yes. So
like
yeah,
Michael said, is a lot of different approaches, concepts on the recording. So check it out.
yeah. It's on Spotify too.
Okay, good, good. Well, let's check out the next song. You shared with us, "Be Moved." Be moved.
Yeah, it's not on Spotify. It's not out yet. I will I will bring it out. I think in May this year.
Okay,
So
so this is a premiere.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it
All
is.
right,
Yeah,
all right. World premiere on
yeah,
Sounds of the Diaspora.
yeah.
Let's check
And,
out. Let's check out B Mood. Let's check it
yeah.
out.
This
B mood.
Yeah,
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, man. So what I enjoy about that is like that theme keeps recurring, you
yeah,
know, and then it's passed on. It's like the melody, but then it's like the shout that passes on to the next solo as well, you know. And
yeah.
yeah,
And it gives a lot of room for development, I think. So
yeah, yeah,
like
definitely.
like a groove you never wanted to stop, and
Yeah, yeah.
and still there is some organization somehow.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And everybody's having fun. We get back to that fun part.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody's
yeah,
having fun. You can hear it.
yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful. So how did you come up with that one? Again, is that the same band?
yeah. It's the
Same
same
musicians?
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
um, yeah. When I write this kind of music, I write very intuitive. I think so.
Mhm.
So I start with a strong idea, and then I see what I can do with it. And well, in this case, when it's such a great band, it's nice to let everybody play and see what they make of it
Right. Right.
without
Definitely.
organizing it too much. And there's also I also love this whole '70s period of Miles Davis. So that so that
Hmm.
so that's also an
Hmm.
element which is below. This kind of, well, not like a jam feel, or like it's this pan on the and you cook it. You're cooking and you
Right.
cook and you
Right. Right.
cook
Yeah. This is
and
the song that when we was talking earlier that I mentioned kind of reminds me of the Fela Ketu concept. You know, when you have like 20 people on the stage and the dancers and everybody's having a good time and it's just a recurring theme that just promotes unity and fun and
yeah.
well-being. Yeah. Yeah, man. Great energy. Great energy. I love it. I love it. Great. So, man, we're running out of time, but I want to play one more song that you share with us, which I find to be very interesting. Wave Man.
Yeah. Waveman, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with a guy, we bought Birkins. We do a lot of projects together.
Hmm.
He's he's a lot of times he's a little bit more at the background, but he's a great playing, and we have this thing that we sometimes we hire a room, or we do a concert. We did one time we did a concert at 6 in the morning at the beach, just the two of us. That's where this is coming from. And that's
Hmm.
why the title, because first we went swimming. The Hague is on the coast, so but it's not swimming like in the Caribbean.
Right, right.
It's really cold, but also really, also really refreshing. But then we like to we we play, but we don't talk about anything. So we just
Hmm.
play, and
Okay.
that's you get the whole different side of the music. It's like the total insight comes out, and
Hmm.
we're improvising together.
Right,
And
right.
so, and then it's interesting which direction you go, you follow, or you cut it off, or
Hmm.
yeah. So that's how we make these pieces.
Okay, great. Well, very, very interesting to check out, and we'll take a listen. So this is Wave Man. That was Wave Man by Michael Varekamp. And I can definitely hear the waves. I mean, coming from the Caribbean. I mean, I'm sitting where I'm sitting right now. I'm actually looking out the window. I can see the beach, so I'm sitting there
Okay.
smiling as we do the show. I'm looking out
Yeah.
the window. I'm like, yeah, I can. I can put this on a vibe with this. Yeah, it's mood music. It's really great. And if you close your eyes and just relax and meditate, you can hear the waves.
Yeah, I was in the root goes back to a trip I did once, a study trip with a saxophone player to India. And
Hmm.
we studied in Indian classical music for 3 weeks with a bansuri player.
Hmm.
And it was I was like 33, I think. It was really an eye opener because when you have this Indian ragas,
Hmm.
first they play before they start playing a, a piece. They play the scale, but
Hmm.
that takes 15 minutes because you're not allowed to just play any note you want. So it's the total opposite of of the way Western approaches with music. You know, we want to use everything we like, uh,
Hmm.
more the better if you want.
Right.
That was an eye opener, and when I hear this back now, I think, yeah, it makes you realize how beautiful an interval can be. Just an interval,
Hmm.
just from the
Definitely.
root to the fifth. What a
Yeah.
sound! I mean, so it focuses on that in a
Yeah.
musical way.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, it's very tranquil and serene. And again, I was just sitting back here just staring at the beach and smiling like, yeah, okay, I can, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna download this one and keep it in my in my rotation
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
that day when I need just tranquility. Yeah, I'm gonna
yeah.
check out Wave Man.
Yeah, and don't think of the cold North Sea. You know.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, man. This is definitely warmth, beauty,
Yeah,
tranquility, serenity. Yeah, that's what this is. This is a good way to end the show. Thanking you for sharing your music, your time, your energy, your story with us because it's very unique. And again, I applaud you for all the great things you're doing. Coming from a Caribbean background, but growing up in a European, environment in the Netherlands, and then embracing all of the cultural elements around you. You're doing an amazing job, man. Continue success in all the things you do. Before you leave, please share with our audience how they can follow you through social media or any projects you have coming up.
yeah. You can go to michaelvarekamp.nl. I'm on Facebook. Uh, Michael Varekamp op Facebook. I'm also Michael Varekamp on the road. It's also Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, and
Mhm.
Spotify, all under
Okay,
my own name. So I'm pretty easy to find.
great, great. Any special projects coming up soon? I know you're working on your festivals for the summer and everything. You have to kind
Yeah,
of do
festivals.
that way in advance. Yeah,
Yeah,
remind them again when that is.
yeah. I'm gonna restart my Louis Armstrong tour through the Netherlands. I will be visiting Poland this year, Germany, France, and some more places. All coming up.
Okay. Can you repeat your website again so the
Yeah,
audience can?
so that's michaelvarekamp.nl.
Mhm. Michael Varekamp dot nl.
Yes, and there's
Good.
also you can send me an email from there or whatever.
Okay, great. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man. It's so informative. We have lots to laugh, lots to catch up on, and you and I
Yeah,
we'll communicate off screen about other things. But continue success to you. All the best to you and your family, and all of your musical projects, and all of the festivals you're doing, and embracing your community, and creating a platform for young artists and community members to have a voice as well within all of the great things you do. So thank you, Michael, for joining us.
thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to see you live again.
Yes, definitely, man. All
Yeah.
the best to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye. That was the great Michael Varekamp from the Netherlands sharing his story with us. Had a good time, man. Really go back and check out his music. Follow him on social media, Facebook, and do support. Next week we have another dear friend of mine, someone I've known for many, many years. This gentleman is amazing guitarist, and he's doing some wonderful things and beautiful music. He just released a new project that he's going to share with you next week. So join us again on Sounds of the Diaspora as we bring to you next week Mr. Freddie Bryant. All right, check us out. See you then, and all the best to you all. Take care.